I first like to say my breakdowns are really incredible. Um, because every single, especially the upsets predictions, because every single upset that I predicted actually took place, and all my locks. Um, the parlay that was requested, I said Joaquin Buckley, I said Yasmin Lucindo, I said Kayla Harrison, and I was feeling a little bit skeptical about Alex Pereira, and clearly I was right because Halil Roundtree won like 2 rounds. So I was skeptical, but I said you can also add Alex Pereira if you're willing to take the risk. And all of them won. So I'm really proud of that. My breakdowns were incredible. I'm also proud of that, but um, my results were not as how I wanted. But as long as the breakdowns, the most important thing is I'm able to help my people avoid stream. Um, I feel like there's a lag. How is there a lag though? Like it was working fine. Anyway, I'm going to do a full card recap. Ugh, I don't know what's causing this lag, man. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. Oh, it's bad. Hold on, please. Um, I don't know why there's such a bad lag. I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing because on my side it's not good, man. Anyway, let me try and get to the recap, basically the prediction results. Um, Cod McGee versus Team Means. My subscribers and I went with um, Team Means, but in my abscess prediction, I did say that I felt like Cod McGee trains at elevation. He was slightly younger, not significantly, but slightly. I did say the possibility of an upset is there, is high, and he actually got it done. Um, but both are old, so yeah, it is what it is. So my subscribers and I got this one wrong. We went with Team Needs. On to the nothing impressive. On to the next one. Carla Esparza. Tweezy, my man, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. I went with Tisha Pennington. I mean, I went with Carla Esparza. My subscribers went with Tisha Pennington. I'm blessed MMA. What parlay would you put? I do final predictions, or rather breakdowns on Wednesday, and upsets predictions on Friday or Saturday. But if you want to know my picks and the confidence level, check the shorts section of the channel. My full card predictions for the upcoming card are already out. To check the video section, that's where I post confidence, pick confidence. So basically, my subscribers give you a percentage of whether a fight, of whether their picks are risky or safe. Tweezy, yeah, there was so many robberies, man. Especially the fight that I'm breaking down right now. If you had to pick one for one on Saturday, yeah, I don't like doing that because I prefer to give an informed opinion. To be honest, um, I prefer to give an informed opinion because I don't want anyone who watches my channel to lose money, right? So, and at this point, I can't remember specifically who I felt exceedingly confident in. So I would much rather prefer to actually do like the proper breakdowns. But you can go to the video section, like on the channel. Like there's a confidence, like there's a risky and safe picks basically on the video section of the channel. The there you can tell my confidence, and I break my picks down Wednesday and Friday or Saturday. I don't want to tell you things like even the names of the people who are fighting are not coming to mind at this point. So I don't want to give you like random names. I prefer to give you an informed one. Like all my locks last week, if you watched my video, my upsets predictions, I'm repeating myself, but I actually said someone asked for my parlay, a four-leg parlay or something like that, and I said, what do you call him? Joaquin Buckley. I said Yasmin Lucindo. I said Kayla Harrison, and I said if you're feeling confident, you can take Alex Pereira because I was a little bit worried about Alex Pereira, and I was rightfully worried because Halil Roundtree actually outperformed what a lot of people expected him to. But yeah, so I would suggest that you at least wait for Wednesday when I do my final predictions or rather final breakdowns so that I can give you an informed thing. Because ultimately, you don't want me to just give you a random name and then you lose money, right? It's better for you to wait for me to actually do a little bit more research in order for me to give you like a properly researched, confident pick. But for now, I'm just doing a recap of UFC 307. Um, Speaking of robberies, Twizy, Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. I went with Carla Esparza. My subscribers went with Tisha Pennington. I always say I blame the fighter for making a fight close because if you don't want to get robbed, you're not supposed to make that fight close. But I feel like Carla Esparza clearly won, and if they were able to Raquel Pennington, I felt like they should have at the very least. I feel like it was unfair for them to actually give credit to what Juliana Pena did as far as grappling and everything like that and effective striking, but they didn't do the same thing for Carla Esparza because I feel like they actually fought the same type of fight. So at the very least, I would have preferred for the judges to be consistent in their robbing of fighters as opposed to value grappling in the co-main event, but feel like it's insignificant in the prelims, which is insane to me. I feel like Carla Esparza won, but it's hard for me to defend someone who makes a fight close, because despite the fact that I feel like she won, um, I'm not going to fight too hard for it. Because one of the things that I'm happy about is I told my subscribers that this fight was risky. So if you went with it, then cool. But one of the things that I pride myself on is trying to see the fights that are most unpredictable and actually highlighting it to my subscribers and the people who watch my standard videos and even the shorts, because in the short section for each individual fight every single week I release a statistics video, and in that statistics video I give you my confidence level in each of my picks. Even my subscribers do the same thing. So I said when I posted this fight, you can always go back and check those videos. I said this fight was 100% risky. More specifically, my pick, I felt like it was 100% risky because it was a coin flip. So I knew that the outcome would be like this. I was anticipating a robbery. And a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people understand risky fights, right? I think people have a higher confidence level in a fight or in a pick if my subscribers and I agree on that particular pick, right? So whenever I feel like there's a high probability of an upset, I usually go for it, even if I feel like I should be picking the other person, just so that anyone, even someone who's new to the channel, the moment they see that we disagree on a pick, in their head they can at the very least know that there's a high possibility that this is a high risk fight. So it's easy for me to go for like the safer picks and go with whatever everyone is saying. For example, in the Cesar Almeida fight versus Iho Potieria, I went with Iho Potieria because I felt like there's a high probability it was smart for me to actually go with what everyone is saying when I feel like there's a high probability for Iho to win. And I feel like the four eye pokes and one nut shot and being the refereeing was horrible in that fight. Like I feel like Iho Potieria had a shot at winning that fight, just that the refereeing in that fight was terrible. I'll come to that. I just want to speak about the Carla Esparza fight. I think I've spoken to enough in depth about it. She was robbed clearly, but I'm not going to go into it because why make it close? You're a former two-time champion, and she's a contender. But nonetheless, respect to her for actually fighting the way she did. A lot of people underestimated. Let me reply for real, bro. Vegas made a call this event for all the dogs. Everyone had to not lose money. Both the favorites with like 30% of people of them won by robbery, Esparza and Aldo. Yeah, that was crazy. Even the Aldo fight, like there were so many crazy, there were so many crazy decisions in this particular fight. Even the Yasmin Lucindo fight, I was surprised that that was even a split decision. I was like, how is that a split decision? Like that's clearly a win for Yasmin Lucindo. Like how do you even see that fight and say Rodriguez? Was it Rodriguez? Yeah. How do you see that for Rodriguez? Which was insane to me. But I don't know. There was something off about the judging, the refing in that particular on that particular card, combined with the fact that it was boring, except Joaquin Buckley landing a knockout and what do you call him, Ryan Spann. Landing a knockout, and obviously the most exciting fight on the card, which was Alex Pereira versus Halil Roundtree. Um, so yeah, it was depressing. Anyway, let me reply to you guys and then focus on going through the entire card, and then I'll reply to every single comment once I'm done going through the entire card. Bautista and Tisha were both over minus 140 and didn't have as many people bet on them. Sketch me out. Yeah, it was odd. It felt like there was a decision to actually say, do not let these people stand on the cage. Do not like it felt orchestrated in a sense, but I don't like going into conspiracy theories. I got every pick. Majoris, Mojorish, or am I pronouncing it Mojorisin? Sorry, man. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I got every pick right except Wonder Boy. What do you think about Aldo Pennington and Hubbard getting robbed? Um, I'm actually on Carla Esparza right now. I'll get to those particular fights. I don't know, man. I don't know if Hubbard was robbed. I think Alexander Hernandez was landing the more powerful, the more significant shots. Um, I don't know, maybe volume. But like I said, even now, if like I know you just joined the stream. Sven, how are you, man? My this guy like likes my channel, but like he likes to trash me. But it's okay, I'm good with it. Um, so like I always say, he lost round three and didn't do too much in round two. I understand that, man. And I can respect your point of view. Maybe I need to rewatch that fight. But for me personally, it felt like he Hernandez was doing a little bit more in terms of significant, in terms of damage. That's why I felt that way. But it was close, and the same way, even though um on this I'm on Carl Esparza versus Tisha Pennington, right? A lot of people agree that it was a robbery, but I'm not even defending this because even though I agree that it's a robbery, I always say if a fighter makes a fight close, then you shouldn't complain about a robbery because it's your fault for making it that close. Um, Let me see. Alphabet, my dude, how are you, man? Hate Mario Bautista. Dude held on for dear life. He did not win that fight. It must have been rigged or something. A lot of fights felt like they were rigged. The whole entire card was weird. Harvard had more significant strikes. I get you, right? But for me personally, I don't like to look too much into significant strikes. I look at who landed the more impactful shots, right? It's like if me and you get into a fight and I slap you and I slap you, I slap you, and then you land 10 punches that make me bleed. Like, who won? Me who I was busy slapping you, or you who actually landed 10 punches that actually made me bleed? Let's say I landed 20 slaps or 30 slaps, and you landed 10 punches that actually made me bleed. Who won? So for me personally, I look at impactful. Sometimes volume of strikes can be misleading to some extent, and sometimes fighters accumulate a lot of strikes in a specific round, and when you look at the overall results, you feel like, oh my God, he won. And you forget that probably work in that particular round, but when you look at the overall results, it makes it seem like he was like miles ahead of him. But I understand your point and I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with that. Maybe I need to look at the fight again. I just feel like um, what do you call him? Alexander Hernandez was doing a little bit more in terms of significant strikes and damage. I stand to be corrected though. Hubbard had more significant strikes. I can't hate the Mario, hate the judges. But Mario, man, I hate. I always defend the grappling, right? I'm one of those fans who always say if you hate the grappling, go watch kickboxing. But in this particular fight, I agree with everyone, and I hate even how he. I think hate is a strong word for me. I dislike even the fact that this was a plan. He came into this fight knowing he was not going to take him down. His plan was to just hold him against the cage, and his argument was like, but if then why I don't like the fact that the fans complain about grappling, but they cheer on Sean Strickland, who's one of the most boring fighters in the UFC. Because of his trash talk, then we have to ignore the fact that his fighting style is boring. But when people like Marab is not exciting, but at the very least he doesn't do what Batista did, But okay, that fight was boring as well. When Marab was fighting Aldo, he was basically doing the same thing. But yeah, it's making me get off topic. Let me go through the entire card. I'll respond to everyone. I'm done going through the entire card. Um, so yeah, Carla Esparza, I picked her. I think she was robbed, but it's her fault for making it that close. Incredible career. Hope she enjoys retirement. On to the next one. Ryan Spann versus Ovin St. Preux. My subscribers and I went with Ryan Spann. This was one of the fights that I wasn't too confident about, but I felt like Ryan Spann had the ability to actually get it done. But I did say I felt like Ovin St. Preux was the better fighter. The problem was he was old. He was too old for me to actually feel like he had any sort of a shot at winning this particular fight. Um, and you know what? Ryan Spann looked incredibly good. It's one thing to it's one thing to go through the fire and get hit a couple of times in order to land your shot, but it's another thing to actually avoid getting hit and actually land massive shots, which is what Ryan Spann did. Ryan Spann looked incredibly good in that particular fight, which is odd because, but I guess that's what people have been complaining about. Even Joe Rogan mentioned it that he's very inconsistent and in this match. But He looked good in that particular fight. Can he remain consistent? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, my subscribers and I got this one right. On to the next one. Cesar Almeida versus Iho Potieria. My subscribers went with Cesar Almeida. I went with Iho Potieria. Um, I would like to repeat what I was saying in the beginning, right? Um, People like to ask me, why would you pick Iho Potieria? There are a couple of people who have been on the stream since I started, but I'm just saying this for people who just joined. My picking people like Iho Potieria is important because number one, I do believe when I pick someone, it's not because of just J. I'm just doing it out of fun. It's based on research, and that's why a lot of the picks that at this stage, sometimes it's close, sometimes it's not. In this particular instance, I feel like Iho Potieria had a shot at winning this particular fight. But how do you win when you are poked 4 times and the referee does nothing? When you are punched in the nuts, the referee does nothing. Oh, okay, he stopped it at the very least there. But when so many fouls are committed that influence how a fight plays out, when you have a clinch and you, even though he was holding, which is insane because that's exactly the same thing that Mario Bautista was doing against Jose Aldo. But Batista was not being, obviously it was a bad referee, but my point is, Iho Potieria was doing exactly what Mario Bautista was doing, but for some reason Iho Potieria was being stopped after every 2 seconds. Every immediately after he holds him, work, break it up. Like I was watching this card and I was so defeated, man. It was disheartening to watch that. And it was even more frustrating to see Bautista do exactly, even worse than what Potieria was doing. And then he was being allowed to stay there for as long as he decided to stay there. Um, I don't like to defend people who make it close, but in this instance, there were so many fouls that I felt like influenced how the fight played out. Um, and that's another thing. Basically, what I'm trying to say is whenever you see me and my subscribers disagree, you should know that that fight is high risk. Specific fighter, you should know that that fight is high risk. And me and my subscribers normally we exchange L's. If we disagree on a fight, they get some right, I get some right. There are instances whereby I'm normally, ahead, but in the past couple of cards, my subscribers have been kicking my ass in terms of prediction accuracy. They've been doing flipping well. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. My subscribers have been doing incredibly well for the past couple of cards. They recovered after UFC Noche. Um, they recovered. Last week they got 11. This week, how many did they get? Once I'm done going through the entire card, so I'm a little bit bitter. But yeah, my point is, whenever you see me and my subscribers disagree on a fight, the best thing to do is just to stay away from it because number one, probabilities are it's going to probably be a close decision and the probability of a robbery are high. If me and my subscribers disagree on a fight, just know that the probability of a robbery is high in that particular fight because it's going to be close. So the best thing you can do for yourself is just to stay away from it. But I mean, if you feel confident, you can go for it. The purpose of my lives and the purpose of me doing all these things is to minimize the risks for you guys. I do a lot of research, and even when I don't get all my picks correct, my breakdowns and my upsets predictions are golden. You can ask anyone who watches my streams. I almost always predict every single fight how it's going to play out as far as whether there's going to be an upset or if the fight is safe. So like this particular card, I'm going to repeat that because that's the only good thing that I did. I predicted all the upsets and all my locks won. Yasmin Lucindo, Joaquin Buckley, Kayla Harrison, and I wasn't too sure about Pereira, but I also placed them in that particular four list. Other than that, I'm not very proud of myself. And to be clear, 50% to me, or anything below 50% and below for me is the same as getting one. I hold myself to a very high. I'm not gonna be too hard on myself for this one. Anyway, um, uh, it's sad that Almeida's fighting like this, man. He won, but not honorably. Um, there's nothing much to say about this particular fight except that Cesar Almeida did horribly in this particular fight. I'm glad for those who won money. It's always good when people win money. I'm always for that. But it saddens me to know that Bautista did exactly the same thing. I'm going to repeat this. Bautista did exactly the same thing that Iho Potieria was doing, but Bautista was allowed every 2 seconds. Anyway, it's fine. I got this one wrong. My subscribers got it right. On to the next one: Austin Harbord versus Alexander Hernandez. My subscribers and I went with Alexander Hernandez. In this in the comment section at the beginning of the stream, right? I don't know, man. I feel like, and in my upsets prediction, I actually did say that I felt like on the feed, Austin Harbord would be the better striker. On the ground, I favored Alexander Hernandez. And I was right. Austin Harbord actually landed more significance. However, the more damaging shots, in my opinion. But like I always say, even though I agree that Carla Esparza was robbed, I didn't defend her. So I do the same thing here. I blame the fighter who makes it close, who makes a fight close. It's their fault for losing, because if you don't want to lose, don't make a fight close. Make it clear enough for the judges to not be able to rob you. That's my philosophy. So if you make it close, it's your fault. I know that you're fighting at the highest level, and it's almost always difficult for you to actually dominate or beat anyone convincingly when you are fighting in the UFC. But what are you doing then in the UFC? Are you trying to be a champion, or is it something that you can brag about to your friends that you are fighting in the UFC and you make decent money fighting? Like, either way, it's your fault. I mean, Carla Esparza, she has an excuse. That was her last fight on the on like she was retiring after a very fruitful career, the inaugural strawweight champion, two-time strawweight champion. I mean, she's done it all. So even if she wasn't doing much, you can't really blame her. She's achieved everything and more. The things that probably a lot of people, 90, 80% of the people, both male and female on the roster, will probably never be able to achieve. Because becoming a two-time champion is one of the most difficult things to ever achieve. And I think they actually gave us a list of the people who've achieved that. It's elite fighters, people like Rosna Mayunez, what do you call her? Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, obviously even Carla Esparza. They are there about trying to achieve greatness. She's achieved it. When you're Austin Harbord and Alexander Hernandez, both of them deserve to get robbed. Why would you make that fight that close? So I'm not going to defend anyone who makes a fight that close. They did it to them. They did it to themselves. So they will deal with the consequences. But personally, I feel like Alexander Hernandez was landing the more significant shots, the more damaging shots. So I felt like the right person won. Anyway, on to the next one. Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. My subscribers went with Marina Rodriguez. I went with Yasmin Lucindo. You remember what I said at the beginning, or rather, not at the beginning, about like 2 fights ago? I said me and my subscribers exchange wins when we disagree on fights. So they will win some, I will win some. This is a simple example, right? My subscribers and I disagreed on Iho Potieria versus Cesar Almeida. My subscribers got it right. We disagreed on Marina Rodriguez and Yasmin Lucindo. I got it right. We disagreed on Raquel Pennington versus Julia Pena. They got it right, even though it was a robbery, but I'll get to that. But my point is, whenever me and my subscribers disagree, stay away from that fight, guys. Like, it's not worth it. You can listen to me, or you can trust your research. My purpose is to make things easier for you, but if you trust yourself, then go ahead. So, Yasmin Lucindo, I said on my, this was one of my logs. I said on my stream that I don't understand why people feel like upcoming fighters do not have a shot at beating experienced fighters. Like every single time I hear an argument for a veteran facing an upcoming fighter, they always say, this guy has faced this person and this person and this person and this person, and that's why they're going to win. I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, that's not how it, that's not how it works. Experience is important, and that's one of the things that I take into consideration. And I don't think people understand why I put rankings into my statistics on the shots section of the video. It's not just to decorate the video. When I put rankings, I'm actually saying who is more experienced. Like that's how I view rankings. So you can know who has fought better competition purely from the rankings. So even if you don't know a specific fighter, let's say it's a debuting fighter, and then they are ranked 100, and then they are facing someone who's ranked like 50 in the world, automatically you know who has faced better competition. So just for my subscribers who watch the shorts on the channel, whenever I put rankings on fights, it's not just for the sake of putting them there. I'm putting them there. That's why even if someone is ranked 100 or 150, I still put it there, because the purpose of the rankings is not to say who is ranked higher. The purpose of the rankings, the reason I put them there, is to give you guys an idea of who has fought better competition. The problem comes when someone is ranked number one in the regional scene, and then they are fighting someone who's ranked like number 50 in the worldwide, because it's difficult to tell who is better or who has faced better competition. The guy, but the guy who's number one probably was dominating in the regional scene. That's where it becomes a little bit tricky. It's easier when people are both ranked, but again, whether regionally or worldwide, it's easier to say, okay, this one has faced better competition. So that's a note for my subscribers who watch my shorts. Every time I put rankings, look at who is ranked higher. I taken. Oh, my lips look horrible. It looks like I do drugs. And it doesn't help that I look navy blue. Anyway, um, anyway, I do take into consideration the fact that someone has faced incredibly talented competition. That's why I included it even in my shorts. Every single thing that I include in my statistics video is an incredibly important aspect of the fight. That's why I added reach, I added height. Anything that I feel like it has the ability to influence a fight, I added to the statistics, right? So I do value experience, but that's not the only deciding factor when it comes to assessing who's going to win or who's going to lose. And I felt like Yasmin experienced. And you saw it in the third round when she was using her chin, which was dirty, I agree. But it was also anything like that in ranked fighters, because they have a lot more experience. They know not to do that. But when we talk about skill for skill, I knew that Yasmin Lucindo was going to be better. And I actually even remember picking, or rather comparing my pick of Yasmin Lucindo to my pick of Jean Silva against Drew Dober. Because when I picked Jean Silva against Drew Dober, a lot of people were saying, like, why? No, not Drew Dober. Charles Jourdain, yeah. when I picked Jin Silva against Charles Jourdain, a lot of people were trashing me. Like, am I stupid? Am I crazy? The comment section is wild, man. Like, do not wish to have a channel. People are wild. People are wild. So people were calling me a lot of crazy things. But I was confused as well because I felt pretty confident about Gene Silva winning that fight, and a lot of people were on Charles Jourdain. And after his performance, I was like, yeah, I was right. So I felt that same way about Yasmin Lucindo, but obviously it's WMMA, so their fights are a little bit more unpredictable. But still, I felt like Yasmin Lucindo would be the better fighter, and she was. And I actually did say I broke it down perfectly, and I said that on the feed, I'm anticipating that the fight will be evenly matched, and it was. But I did also say that on the ground, I felt like Yasmin Lucindo would dominate, and she did. It wasn't as dominant as I would have expected it to be, but that also speaks to her inexperience. With experience, it's crazy to think that she's ranked number 6 or something like that. I haven't checked the rankings, and she's like 22 years old, turning 23. It's insane. I can only imagine where she'll be when she's like 30 years old. She's another Max Holloway. Look at Max Holloway is still in his prime, and like, dude has achieved the unachievable in the sport. So I feel like Yasmin Lucindo has the ability to become one of the greatest female fighters in history because she's starting so early in her career, and she's fighting at a high level, even though she's like 23 years old. Like, how are you close to the top five and you are 22, 23? It's crazy. But yeah, this was one of my locks. I felt pretty confident about it. I'm a bit hesitant when someone is untested. I felt like Yasmin Lucindo was tested, and people were using her previous losses against her. And I remember in the stream I said, of course she's going to lose. She was young and she was inexperienced. But she's growing now. She's becoming a woman. She's The strength is coming in a little bit. The experience is helping. Like, things are shaping up properly for her, and I knew that she would be able to get it done. Plus, I did say that, I mean, Rodriguez is like 37 years old. If she was maybe 34, I'd be a little bit. I'm proud of this one. I got this one right. I have to be. My subscribers kicked my ass as far as prediction accuracies. I'm taking the little wins that I can get. Take that, subscribers. It hurts when I'm wrong. So it makes me happy when at least I'm right and my subscribers are wrong. They've been kicking my ass for a while. Anyway, on to the next one. Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Um, my subscribers and I went with Joaquin Buckley. This was my second lock on the card. Um, I feel like because of a lot of people who've been following my channel are starting to respect me a little bit more. Before I didn't get any respect. So even when I have a crazy pick, they respect it because they know what I've predicted in the past. They know that I'm able to predict like really good underdogs, really good upsets, and even my live breakdowns. So my opinion now is a little bit more valued, you know. But I saw a lot of people disagreeing and be like, and which is something that's one of the reasons why I included the subscribers picks, because I felt like the people who I'm making content for, I feel like might know a lot more about the sport than I do because I started watching MMA properly since I think 2020, somewhere there. Actually, 2019, yeah, that's where I started watching the sport properly, which is crazy because if you listen to me, you'll think I've been watching the sport for a very long time. But the and I'm like fully immersed in the sport, and that's why when you listen to me, you think I've been watching the sport for a very long time. I do a lot of research, and that's why I sound like I know what I'm talking about. and I love the sport. I watch it. I watch the prelims. I love every aspect of MMA, the grappling, the striking. But in any case, I felt a couple of people disagreeing with me, which is something I always invite. It also helps me learn because a lot of my subscribers are very intelligent. That's why their picks are so good, even though it hurts my feelings. But that's why their picks are so good. And I will repeat that my subscribers are very intelligent. Um, even some picks that I question. One of the things, and before I forget to mention this, I thought Kayla Hedison would destroy Caitlin Vieira, and my subscribers said that fight is going to end in a decision. That's one of the few things that I can point to say my subscribers are very intelligent. They're not just smart; they're very intelligent. I am confident enough to say that even if I stop predicting fights completely and just do breakdowns, I have full confidence in my subscribers having quality predictions. Their prediction accuracy is incredible. I don't want to lie. Even though I've been kicking their ass for before UFC Noche, like I was just running circles around them. But it wasn't like I was leading them by a lot. Like I was maybe leading them by one, two. So I will repeat, my subscribers are very intelligent and they push me to actually be better as far as my prediction accuracy and um, everything. They make me want to be better. So I value my subscribers. I have 11,000. I actually think I just hit the 12,000 subscribers. I respond to everyone. Like, I keep repeating this. It sounds corny, but one of the things that I'm worried about as far as me growing and my channel getting bigger and bigger is the fact that it's going to be difficult to respond to everyone. But I'll find a way because talking to you guys opens up a section of my mind that I love, like I enjoy. My subscribers were feeling like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Not all of them, but a portion of them. Obviously, the large proportion or the vast majority of my subscribers were picked Joaquin Buckley to win this fight, and they were right. Obviously, I was right as well, but I didn't like Joaquin Buckley's performance. Even though I felt like it was good, but he was losing. I think in terms of like the judges, it was a close fight in my opinion. But I think on the scorecards, Joaquin Buckley was down 2 rounds. I don't like the. Okay, before I get to the call out, um, that was a sensational. I'm going to respond to every single comment. If you just logged on, I'm going to respond to every single comment. Once I'm done, That was a sensational performance by Joaquin Buckley, or rather knockout, not performance. I didn't expect it, especially Wonderboy Thompson. You don't knock out Wonderboy Thompson unless maybe with ground and pound. I don't know. Has Wonderboy Thompson been knocked out before? I'm not sure about that. But in any case, it was a great performance in the third round, I guess. Let's get to the call out. I feel like he shouldn't have went for Usman. Usman can strike, and I feel like Usman has a high probability of beating him. Even though Usman is old, we're talking about a former number one pound for pound fighter. That was a bad call out. I think the lowest hanging fruit in welterweight is Kobe Covington. Like it was there. Kobe can't strike. Joaquin Buckley is strong enough to actually avoid getting taken down by Kobe. He's good enough to like that's the most low hanging fruit in the welterweight division. Or maybe he didn't call out Kobe because he felt like Kobe would duck him and would waste his time. I guess. But if I was him, I would have called out Kobe Covington. That's the lowest hanging fruit. I feel like Joaquin Buckley would destroy Kobe Covington. But it is what it is. I think Usman is going to kick his ass. Usman can strike. Usman is an elite wrestler. Buckley has knockout power. I can respect that, but once again, Usman can strike. The advantage that Buckley had against Wonderboy Thompson was because he was mixing things up and he was keeping Thompson guessing, right? But I can respect his call out. Maybe he's trying to challenge himself. And if he wins, he undoubtedly deserves a title shot. So maybe he's trying to challenge himself, and I can respect that, which is something that Bilal was doing on his way up. He was trying to challenge himself, and he's the champion right now. So I guess I can respect that. On to the next one. Actually, Buckley was one of my locks, but I said he's 51% safe, largely because I felt like he would win, but I knew Wonderboy was dangerous. Um, if you want to hear my specific prediction or breakdown, go to the upsets predictions. They are on the live section of the channel. Um, on to the next one, Roman Dolite versus Kevin Holland. My subscribers and I went with Kevin Holland. I'm proud of myself once again. I did say that Holland is very unpredictable. If you want to risk it, it's up to you. But I did say an upset is highly possible here. Um, Holland Holland's takedown defense is horrible at middleweight. I don't know what he's doing up there. If you are going to, and he has the frame for middleweight. If he wants to wrestle or if he wants to fight at middleweight, he needs to put on muscle. Like, you can't look that skinny against Roman Dolite. You can't look that skinny against Dricus Duplessis. That's why Hamza Chimaev did what he did to him. Like, you can't look that skinny, especially with his frame. At least look at Joaquin. Imagine if Kevin Holland was as jacked as Joaquin Buckley. I mean, he would do a lot of damage in the octagon. But I don't know, man. And Michael, what do you call it? Michael Venom Page kicked his ass at welterweight. Maybe it discouraged him. But if he wants to stay at middleweight, he needs to build on muscle. He broke a rib, and there's nothing much to say. He called himself the gatekeeper, so the gatekeeper lost. The only thing I can say is, if you watch my upsets predictions, you know to avoid this fight. But even if you don't watch my upsets predictions, I think any smart MMA fan knows how unreliable Kevin Holland is. Dog or pass. And because of how unreliable Kevin Holland is, you either go for the dog or you just leave it alone because he's unreliable. But he was the better fighter. I just feel like his takedown defense is horrible at middleweight. He either needs to put on muscle or go back to welterweight and get his ass kicked again by Michael Venom Page. What a disappointment. Anyway, Caitlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison lock on the card. I expected Kayla Harrison to actually dominate Caitlin Vieira. That didn't happen. And you know who knew that was not going to happen? If some people might not like to hear it, my subscribers have better picks than probably 90% of YouTube channels, including me sometimes. like they, I'm hurt, guys. So yeah, better picks than 90% of YouTube predictors. Even Topology does not even come close to my subscribers' picks. Anyway, I thought Caitlin Vieira would actually lose horribly. And my subscribers said it was going to be a decision. I was like, really? These guys are crazy. How would you think that? I forgot that Caitlin Vieira was actually number two. Like, she was ranked number two. And she showed why she was ranked number two. I heard a couple of people saying Kayla Harrison is overrated. Kayla Harrison was exposed. Dude, in her first fight, she beat Holly Holm, who I think was ranked, I don't know, number two or something like that. In her second fight, she's beating the second ranked fighter, in her. There's no exposure there. Like you're fighting elite fighters, and it's the UFC not get exposed. However, and I also did say, let me go into just give my subscribers credit. I also said that I feel like she's going to dominate, but my biggest issue is her cutting down to that division. I felt like it was going to affect her gas tank, and that would be the biggest issue. It wouldn't be a skill issue, which I don't think it was. It would be a gas tank issue, which I think it was. Um, so yeah, I don't feel like she was exposed. I don't feel like she's any of the things that people were saying. I think she was fighting the number two ranked fighter, and it was close. It is what it like. She's number two in the world. Like you can't expect anything less from her. Even though I expected a domination, I was wrong. On to the next one. Okay, I got this one right. This was my third lock. On to the next one. Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. My battery is getting low, guys. I wanted to rent, like I wanted to go off. I wanted to go off on this fight, man. But I will say that it's unfair that seconds, but but Mario Bautista is allowed to dance with Aldo on the fence as much as he can and gets a win because of it. Why didn't you allow Iho Potier? Because they were doing exactly the same thing. The difference is Iho Potier only got 2 seconds and he was separated, and he was poked 4 times in the eyes and was punched in the nuts. It seems like when you get punched in the nuts and get poked 4 times in the eyes, that's where they draw the line. You cannot stand on the fence. You need to be poked again. I don't know. I don't know why. That's the only difference I see. I was like, someone once asked me, why don't you bet on fights? Look at how I react, guys. Like, I don't put money on these fights, but I'm hurt. Like I lost like 10,000. It hurts, man. Like whenever I get picks wrong, it ruins my enjoyment of the card. Like I can't enjoy the card the same way if I start off with a couple of losses. And in my head, I calculate. I'm like, okay, I'm 4 down or I'm 3 down, and I'm always. It's better for me to start with wins, so that even if I get one loss, I can still enjoy the card. But if I start off with two, I'm holding my hand like I don't want to get three wrong. I don't want to get three wrong. And then I get three. I'm like, oh shit. We're still in the prelims. I mean, like, what's going to happen in the main card? I have to go undefeated. And then and then there are comments that pop up on my phone like boop, robbery, boop. And then they tag me. And like the trolls are very mean. They say horrible things, and then I see them. I'm like, did I get that many wrong? One I actually thought Pereira lost because someone said in the comment section, "Well, this did not age well," and I hadn't watched the card by then, right? Because I was sleeping in South Africa. They repeated on the channel. I'm not going to advertise them, but there's a sports channel whereby we can watch it later. So I watched it later, and then I saw that comment. I was like, how did Pereira lose? But I actually did say in my upsets predictions that probably it's, you know, Roundtree performed how I expected him to perform. So when I saw that comment, I was like, how did he lose? And that affected my whole how I watched this whole entire card. From the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm 1 down. Pereira lost. And then only to find out he actually won. Like, Twizy, you're making me read the comments. I'm almost done. I'll try to respond to that. Anyway, Jose Aldo won that fight. Um, I'm not gonna blame him. He's old. He did his best. Batista is the one to blame here for holding this dude on the fence but they didn't allow the same thing for Iho. That's what pisses me off. It's the fact that they let Iho Potieria, they let the Cesar Almeida, they didn't allow Iho Potieria to. Batista did, but Batista gets to do it. I think that's the one thing that irritates me more than anything, but it's fine. I'm glad he got booed. I'm sorry, I know it's his career, but the UFC is making us hate these people, man. Hate is a strong word. Dislike, yeah. My subscribers and I went with Jose Aldo. It is what it is. On to the next one. Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. I went with Raquel Pennington. My subscribers went with Juliana Pena. This was a horrible fight, and then we have robbery on top of it. But I don't know if maybe I should be saying it's a robbery. Okay, it was, man. The thing here is I always make the argument for grapplers, right? But in this particular instance, Pena was not controlling the fight significantly enough. The rounds that she controlled it significantly enough, she won. But I felt like Raquel Pennington won at least 3 rounds. I don't know, man. Like at this point, I was down in my head. I already knew Juliana Pena. When I was watching this card, I already knew Juliana Pena won. In my head, some stupid troll. Okay, let me not call him that. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's confused by the format. Sorry for that. But some dude came into the comment section and made me believe Pereira had lost. So in my head, I was like, I did badly, and it affected my enjoyment. So plus this fight was boring, so I couldn't even focus as much until Raquel Pennington landed a knockdown, and she jumped into. Sometimes these fights will drain your energy, man. Right? Like, why would you knock someone down who primarily came into the fight knowing they wanted to grapple with you, and then you decide you're going to join them on the ground after you knock them down? Why not? I wanted to defend Raquel Pennington, but it's fine. It's her fault. Why did she make it so close? It's fine. She she deserves to be robbed. It's fine. She, it's her fault. Why would you go into someone's guard after you knock them down, knowing that they are better grapplers than you? Like, it's like it's like knocking down Habib. Okay, Habib is a strong example. I mean, Juliana Pena is not Habib, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Why would you knock down Habib and then say, oh, he's on the ground? Even Charles Oliveira, people did not go into his guard because they know you can knock this guy down, but it's better to just wait for him to stand up than to try and jump into his guard. He's going to submit you. Even though a submission didn't happen, but she probably could have gotten a finish. And she ruined it for herself, so it's fine. Plus, the trash talk between Juliana Pena and Kayla Harrison will be fun, I guess. And Raquel Pennington wouldn't have said anything except to get emotional. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice, guys. It's hard. Um, so I guess we can look forward to the trash talk in the pre-fight press. Raquel Pennington was robbed, but I say even though I picked her, she deserved to be robbed. She made stupid decisions, so it's her fault. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. My subscribers and I went with Khalil Roundtree. This was my fourth lock on the card, but I wasn't too confident about it, and I'm glad. I'm proud of myself for being able to foresee some of these fights and how they play out. Because when I said what I said, I was also wondering, am I right? But Roundtree won 2 rounds, so I was clearly right about what I was saying. And that's why it's important to always watch my upsets predictions. even the breakdowns, because I say different, even though I say similar things, but there are different things that I add to whatever research that you're doing on each particular fight. So it's important to actually watch the breakdowns or the final predictions on Wednesday and the upsets predictions on Friday or Saturday. That's when I normally do them. Um, so I was worried, but I went into this fight thinking that Alex Pereira was going to lose. So when I was seeing Khalil Roundtree perform the way he was, in my head I was like, okay, I guess this is why he lost. And then round four, I'm like, how did Pereira lose when he's beating him up this badly? And then he falls down, and you should have seen how confused I was. I can't wait to watch the fights live with you guys and stream the whole thing because my reactions are crazy. Uh, um, so yeah, I was so confused. I was like, how did he lose? I mean, be a rematch then if this is how it's going to end. And then Roundtree is knocked out, and I'm like confused. It was TKO, but I think you know what I mean. And I was still confused. I was like, so was the decision overturned? What happened? And then I then realized that okay, it was that one dude who was that dude ruined my enjoyment of this card. Because when I tell people that a fight is safe, I take it seriously. So this was one of the fights that I was saying were safe, and I was like on top of one, two, three, four, five. I was down, man. But yeah, an incredible card. I want to continue, man. My battery is low, 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 low. Like it's on. I'm sure it's about to turn off, and I don't want it to turn off because the stream is going to continue while my phone is off, and then it'll be like 2 hours, and then the other part won't be because I'll have to charge first for my phone to turn on and come back to YouTube and turn off the stream. I want to reply to all of you, but I'm afraid of the phone turning off. But what you can do, guys, if you wanted to ask me something serious, go wait for me to end the stream and then comment on the stream. You know, if you're my subscriber, you know that I reply to every single comment. So if you said something that was important that you wanted me to see, please comment. I'm going to end the stream right now. Please comment on the stream after I'm done, not in the stream right now. I'm going to close it now, then you can comment. I'll reply. Um, I haven't been replying properly, but I'll make sure that by tomorrow I respond to every single comment on the channel. I'm avoiding my phone turning off and the stream running, people logging in and seeing darkness in JFL. Um, I'll see you Wednesday or in the comment section. Either way, I love and appreciate all of you. If you're new to the channel, ask anyone on the stream. It's a pretty dope channel. Go to the video section, go to the short section, go to the community section, go to the live section of the channel. Every single part of the channel is very active, and each section has its own value and its own incredibleness about it. There's so much information on the channel. It's hard for me to go through everything that's on the channel because there's so much. But if you want to a place to start where it's quick, right? You can go to the shorts. The shorts will give you an idea of what the channel is about and the kind of information that's on the channel. If you want detailed information and breakdowns, go to the live section. That's where I break down everything. If you want sort of like short but like quickly information for the entire card, go to the video section. Communities on whether a fight is going to be end in a decision, or whether a fight is going to, whether it's risky, who's going to win, a variety of elements. My phone is about to turn off now. I'll see you guys in the comment section on Wednesday. I love and appreciate all of you. Until next time, deuces.